Nigeria, good evening, Africa. Welcome to another fascinating episode of Find Your Voice and Own Your Space. I'm your host, Jadesola Adewodun, and welcome to the seventh episode. Bravo to me. It started with an idea and a dream, and right now we're on the seventh episode of the first season. Anyways, today promises to be an amazing time. Today, we will be speaking to a phenomenal woman. I like to call her an enigma because what? She is loaded. She is seriously loaded. Now, please note that we are live on LinkedIn. I'm at Jadesola Adewodun, and we are also live on YouTube at Lady Jade Global. So please tell a friend to tell another friend that we are live on the Find Your Voice series. Please share the link. Um, subscribe to our YouTube channel at Lady Jade Global. And trust me, today's conversation promises to be an amazing time. So back to our speaker for today. She is the founder of the Multiwoman Network. Looking at her profile really blew my mind. She is a two-time president. She's currently the vice president. As in, she's just really hot. Ladies and gentlemen, my friend and my sister, interestingly, life brought us together 4 years ago, and it's been an exciting journey since then. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome with me, Mrs. Mary Damilola Ayuba. Whoop, 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 whoop.
Lady Jade.
That's me.
The Lady Jade.
That's me. Munje. Good to have you on the Find Your Voice series,
Thank
Mary. How are you doing this evening?
you. Thank you so much. How are you today?
I'm fine. I'm okay. How are you doing today?
I'm very well. Thank you. I'm very well. Thank you.
Thank you for joining me on the series. It's a pleasure. I'm excited to have you on the show. I'm very giddy because knowing how dynamic you are in all of your expressions, how you're able to navigate your journey. Um, 4 years ago, it felt like you were starting this journey, and 4 years, just like that, it has
Mm,
come to an end. And it's very
mm,
inspiring that you had a dream and you went for it. And also knowing that you have a community of people where they are very
mm,
ruthless people when it comes to their goals and their dreams, holding people accountable. And it's very amazing. It is called the Ruthless Results Squad, if I'm correct, right?
That's right.
And looking at your profile, man, it's your thing, yo. You can't wait. Heavyweight top. Because, excuse me, you are two-time president of Young African Women Congress Nigerian chapter. Google Women call it for Yaba Lagos event and network. Excuse me, only one person. You are chairman of Yali, vice president operation of the Economic and Financial Evolution Network. My goodness, pioneer of the ruthless founder. Kilo Shellen, are you? It's only you in this life. Only you one person. How do you juggle all this? How? And then you used to be a bank intern, and then you were also a radio presenter.
Mm,
Mary, I want to ask because that I want to start from there before we now go to all this, this high and mighty move. How did you used to do it? Very banker by day, radio presenter by night. How were you juggling? Excuse me. Are you sure it's the same air that we're
oh
about to speak like that? Are you really sure? Take us away.
God. Okay, so first, thank you for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity. Every opportunity I get to, share a thing or two, I do not take it,
Yeah.
lightly because I know that you never can tell who is going to listen to
Mhm.
this and, be inspired. So I'm so grateful. And it's just interesting that we met in broadcast school,
Yeah.
funnily enough. Um, we didn't even know that this relationship would blossom like this,
It's good to have
honestly.
good character in this
But
life. Be a good person. Let's start from there.
it's just
I
beautiful to see,
know.
honestly.
I know.
And I think I left Nigeria like almost immediately
Yeah.
after
What's
broadcast
maybe?
school because um I wasn't doing
Mm.
anything, honestly. And so when I was telling my friends that I want to leave, I want to go to school, I want to, start again, my friends are like, Mary, are you okay? Like, you're 28. What are you looking
Mm.
for? Let's go and marry and go and start your life. But in my mind, I'm
There's
like,
more.
guys,
There's more.
this is how I am. Oh, like I wasn't in any relationship. There was nothing holding me
Mm.
back. So it was easy for me to really just make that decision to
Mm.
leave, and I left. Continued my life, but you know how God just writes your
Yeah.
story and just adds a little twist to it to say that you, this girl, you don't know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
planning for
Mm-hmm.
you. But let's backtrack. Let's backtrack a little bit. Um, how did this whole journey even start, Seth? I just knew that I was a young girl who had finished my national diploma at the
Mm-hmm.
time, in mass communication. And when I finished, I was supposed to intern. Now, I'd done my one short industrial training in a newspaper organization, leadership newspapers at the
Okay.
time. And I think it was just for about 3 or 4 months. And I really didn't like how I was
Hmm.
treated, not in the organization, on the job. So you know how you go to school and then you learn about,
Yeah.
journalism, you learn about
Yeah.
newscasting, news reporting, gathering stories and all
Yeah.
of those things. It sounds really easy on paper. It's so, see, you can go and define what newscasting is. You can go and do the five W's and
Mm-hmm.
H. You can do the, what, when, who, when. You can do the story,
God,
inverted
I beg.
pyramid style. You can do all of those
Yeah.
things, guys. When you get to the
It's a different ball
field,
game.
you are gonna know. So I had a particular experience then during my CWES, and then I was just this boisterous, young reporter. I was covering the judiciary and crime beat at the time, so I would usually go to
Mm-hmm.
courthouses or police stations. I was going to the courthouse in Ikeja so much. I was a teenager,
Wow.
guys. I was still like maybe 18 or 19 at the time, but I was just so interested, in mass communication, wanted to be a journalist. And I think one of those days, I think it was during one maybe local government election or
Okay.
something like that. And I saw these guys, fighting at the secretariat in Abule Egba. I'll never forget. And in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, this is a very good story. This, let me report this, to my deputy editor at the time. Let me report this, let me report this. Guess what your
What
sister
did you
did?
do?
I brought up my phone right in the midst of the crisis, and I was like taking videos, taking videos, doing recording. Jade.
I'm listening.
What happened
My goodness
after was
gracious
like
Lord.
a dream. I just said, catch her, she's part of them. She's the one they sent. Before I knew, bang, bang, it was so funny. I'm not joking. This story is so real. I'm telling you. Jade, they took me, collected my phone. So it looked like I was maybe from another
Oh
opposition
my
party. Maybe they sent me. I didn't know
God.
anything. Me, I was just,
You're just
an
young blood,
innocent
just
COS
energetic.
girl.
Let's cover
Who wanted
story.
to record
My
stories.
God. Oh my gosh, she cover story cover. It's okay. Continue.
You know, and I remember then they seized my phone. They said they weren't
Oh
going to give
dear.
me. I kept saying no. I didn't know anything. In fact, I didn't even know anything about what
Didn't you
was
have your
happening.
ID with
I
you?
just knew that these guys were.
Didn't you have
You
your
say what?
ID with you?
I didn't have nothing. Make I even constitution their press ID card double wahala. I didn't have
Oh dear.
nothing. So, like, I don't know how God just did it. That they took my memory card and then gave me back the phone. I can't even remember if they gave me back the SIM. Babe, I cried to my editor's
Oh
house.
dear.
And then I said, I'm not doing this reporting again. No, I don't want to do
Oh dear.
it.
Oh.
My deputy said, Mary, next time you don't stay in the scene of a crisis to
You're
cover
discreet
crisis.
about it.
If you're reporting, if you're reporting issues like this, you
At
stay
the
far
distance.
away. In fact, don't get close, don't be in the middle, so that was my first, like real-time experience with journalism back then. But I was really still interested, in doing journalism, broadcasting, and all of those things. I just had this flair for speaking,
Mm.
talking, and I think those that was actually what also inspired me to go back to come to broadcast school, where we eventually met. Now I finished that, and then when I finished my diploma, I just like, what, I'm not sure they will pay me well as a young reporter, because even when I was in the COS at the time, they weren't paying us. It was just like maybe transport fare here and there. Me, I don't want that
Mhm.
kind of thing. Me, I wanted to make money. So
It's important.
one of my friends just told me that, uh, one of my friends just told me that, that there was a particular organization that was recruiting for the bank, and she had gone to do some documentation. If I could go on. Can you still
Okay.
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Please
I'm
go on.
getting a feedback. Okay, good. All right, good. So I just went on to the organization. Then it was now an outsourcing agency. Submitted my documents and all that, and then I filled in to apply to be an intern in the bank, and that was how I actually landed. Working in Access Bank at the time. So I was working as a transaction officer, started in retail operations, moved to centralized operations. I was in the front office, doing tailoring,
Mm-hmm.
doing transactions. I moved to being a CEO. From there, I was doing fund transfer. It was just a lot of things I was doing at the time. And then later I moved to centralized operation. I was now in back office. I didn't have to interact with customers like for the 2 years. And funnily enough, I spent about 6 years in banking. And I think that all of the time I was there, I just felt like God was just, preparing me. It wasn't like I had an enjoyable work experience,
Mm-hmm.
but it was paying the bills. Okay. So because it was paying the bill, it was hard for me to just let go like that. My plan was to just, be there for 1 year and then go back to school to further my education. But I just found myself that I could not leave, you see. And I just said, you know what? Okay, let me begin to do study and work. So I thought of enrolling into National Open University. So I started actually from 100 level, started continuing my mass communication in National Open University. And that was what I was doing. And I did that for about 5 years. I wrote my project, and when I was done, I thought, okay, you know what, it's time to graduate. Let me get the certificate and then move on to the next thing I'm going to do in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember then they had released the graduation list at the time. And I quickly searched, oh, Mary Ogundimo. And I'm like, no search found. What do you mean, no search found?
I don't understand. Excuse me. Did you pay school fees?
What
Didn't
do
you
you
register on the portal?
think? And now we're paying every semester, not even every session. We're paying every semester. You have to register every semester, you have to register every
How did
course.
they not find your name on the school portal?
Jadesola, I wish I
That's
knew.
a joke.
See, I wish I knew. You see, I'm talking about this thing is enjoyable now, is funny, but
Yeah, if it can never be funny then.
back then it wasn't funny. I'm not even joking. Like, it was not funny. I
Oh
remember I
dear.
would go to school. Because I was working in on the island, Victoria Island, or Oyinjola precisely. I would go
Oh,
from
okay.
Oyinjola to the study center in VI. I
Yeah.
would go to the office. I was writing letters, and then I later learned that some of my courses were missing. I'm like, what do you mean some of my courses were missing? I wrote exams. This is my docket. Like, you can see everything. It was signed. So what do you mean, I couldn't understand. And then one of the guys was telling me that, oh, maybe I'll need to, write the exams again. I'm like, what are you guys even saying? You think it's easy to be doing this schooling thing? Ah, I cannot write this exam again. No, I cannot do this thing again. And we went on like that for months, and then months it became years. And I just felt like, you know what? I'm not going to fight this. I'm just going to let it go. And that was, I just left it. I didn't even bother. And I think 2 years after, and I'd resigned from the bank at the time, I just felt like, you know what? It's not worth it. I beg.
Mm-hmm.
I beg, I beg, I beg. I don't have the energy for this. Then I decided to, start again from scratch. Then when I came to Cyprus, I just said, you know what, let me start again. Let's do this all over again. It's okay. It cost me money, it cost me time, it cost me a lot of things really, but I think it's just that part of me knowing that whatever happens, me, I will survive.
Yeah. And
Whatever
you actually did,
happens.
I wouldn't say you survived, you actually thrived.
Like
You
I'm going
did.
to shine through. I'm going to shine through. And it wasn't even easy really. When I was working and I was schooling, those were one of some of the like toughest days of my life. I'm not even going to like, because I remember I was get to the office very early so that I could read, because again, now you are not really going to classes, but you have to show up for tests, you have to show up for exams. And I remember that I would get to the branch very early. And because the rules of the bank, you're not going to be allowed to enter the bank if it's just one person. So you
Yeah.
have to be two. So I would sit in the security room, babe. I'll be in the security room, I'll be reading. Mosquitoes go they chop me like say that they chop
You're having a pool party on you, but it's okay.
oh
No shit.
party.
The book
Like
is more important than these mosquitoes. Let's focus.
I have to stay there until
Wow.
someone else comes before the security guards will allow you into the banking
Into the banking hall.
premises. When everyone is closed, when we're closed and then when everyone is gone, my branch manager at the time would usually still stay back because she's balancing this and that. And then I'll just say, ma, please, I just want to stay back maybe for an hour or two. Let me just read and cover up some of my tests. And then she'll say, okay, no problem. I'm going to be in the branch. I'll be reading, I'll be studying, I'll be
That's
writing.
fantastic. God bless that
Nah,
manager wherever she is.
God bless her. Okpayemi was one of those people who really, really supported me back then. She just really believed in me. I really don't know why. Maybe because I was very young at the time. I was just like, I think I was 19 going on 20. I was in my early 20s. She really, really just believed in me. She would, encourage me. She would just say, you know what, Mary, everything's going to be fine. Everything will be fine. It's okay if you want to read. I'll stay back. I'm still working. You can read. She was so
That's
supportive. Now, as much as I have, somebody like that, a boss like that who was so supportive, I also worked with bosses who were really terrible
horrible
to me.
bosses,
I'm not even
but we
going to
forgive
lie.
them and we
Ah,
moved
yeah,
on in
yeah, yeah,
life.
yeah, yeah. We have. I just thank God for the journey,
Mm,
really.
wow, that's really beautiful. So, how are you juggling radio and
Thank you.
being at the bank? Despite the fact that you had to also be in school. How did you do that? I'm curious about the story.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I want to be sure I got the question well. You're asking how I did radio and schooling,
Radio, radio
and all
schooling
that,
banking.
right? I
Only
think
you
I
one
was in,
person.
yeah, radio schooling banking. You see, yeah, when I finished my diploma and then I started working in the bank, I just thought of the fact that what I learned as a media, as in my mass communication, I wanted to build on it. I didn't want to just have the theoretical knowledge. I wanted
Yeah,
practical. So at the time, I had a friend who had a show on Unilag FM. And
yeah,
so, because he had a show, he was anchoring on Unilag FM. I spoke to him and he said, okay, let's see what you can do. But before he brought me on the show, he spoke with another producer of another show on Unilag FM, which was like a student show. So on that
yeah.
show, it was called On Stage. Yeah, that's the name of the show. That was where I met Muyosore Leshaw. That was where I
Oh,
met, there were some other couple of people I met at the time on that show. So it was just like a bunch of students who would come together to produce a magazine, yeah, a radio magazine program. That's what it was called at the time. So they would give us different segments, and then we're going to, we'll go and learn about it, and then we'll come back the following week. It was every Sunday. We'll come back and then would, do what we have been asked to do. So they had different segments in 1 hour. You had poetry, you had news, you had music, you had entertainment. It was just a lot of things. So you could be on a particular section on a
yeah.
particular Sunday, and then the next Sunday they rotate it like that. And so On Mondays to Friday, I would do banking, and then Saturday and Sunday, you would always find me in Unilag FM. Because on Saturday, we're doing voice clinic, we do voice training. On Saturday, we're going to come for the training aspect. And then on Sunday, we'll have to show up at the studio to do our part of the show. And so that was actually how I was doing it. And the funny thing is, at the time, I was living around, I think we're living at Alagbado area, if anyone knows that area. And then I'll leave from
Hello.
I will leave from Alagbado.
Hello, excuse. Stop it. Don't just gloss through it like that. I don't like it. Excuse me. You were literally traveling interstate.
Yes, I was literally, because it was not easy. I'm not joking. But yeah, I think for me, it was just that passion at that time. It was just that
Wow.
passion, like, you know what, I just want to do this. I just want to do this. And you would see me volunteering for different events. So Saturdays, I was at
Yeah.
different events. You would see me, I will be in media, team. I will be volunteering. I'll be doing, and I was volunteering. And the thing is, those events actually built me.
Hmm.
The people I met on that journey are people that have been such a huge impact in my life till today.
Hmm.
When we attend events like that, you hear people share their story, you hear people talk. You'll be looking at yourself. If this person can do it, it means it is
I
possible.
can also
I'll never
do it.
forget, even right there on radio, when this my friend now brought me on radio, and I was now like co-hosting his show. What he does on the show, Ambassadors Radio Show, what he does is to interview entrepreneurs from different parts of the world. And when I listen to the stories of these people, you mean you went through this and you still came out like this? It means it is possible. You know,
Yeah.
the more I heard those things, the more I saw the picture of what is possible. The more I heard those things, the more I saw that this thing is not rocket science.
It's not.
This thing is doable. If you don't give up, if you don't quit, if you don't get tired, your story will come out fine. It will not be easy, yes. As you go on along the line, you would have, challenges, difficulties here and there, but you will still come out fine. You will still turn out fine. And so I think that the more I hear things like this, the more I got that courage to keep on pushing, to just continue to press in. So even when it wasn't easy, I wasn't the one that would quit. I wasn't the one that would just back out and feel like, oh, it didn't
Hmm.
work. Then let me. No, no, no. We will be there. We will live here. We will be here. So I think those things really, really helped me, because those were my formative
Yeah.
years. And because I was exposed to those kind of teachings, I was seeing the possibility every single time. I was seeing the possibility. Even when I began to meet women who were excelling in their careers and they're doing well in their family, their wives, they're raising beautiful children. I'm
It's
like, this
possible.
thing
It's
is
doable.
possible. Why are you people now telling us, "Wait, it is not possible"? It
Yeah.
is possible. If this person can do it, then it means that
It's doable.
there's
Yeah,
hope
there is.
somewhere. So the more I saw those things, the more I heard those things, it really just helped me, to set my priorities right, and to just keep my eyes on the
Well,
mark,
thank you. I mean,
really.
if I'm hearing you right, you consciously surrounded yourselves with pictures of possibility, right? Are you there? Okay. You consciously surrounded yourself with pictures
Yes,
of
yes, yes,
possibility because it's very, very important. This then makes me
yes,
realize that the reason why
yes.
some people, do things that are really
Mm-hmm.
drastic is because of the community that they're surrounded by.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times you hear people do some really, really horrible thing and wondering,
Yeah,
don't you have a
yeah.
family? Don't you have friends? Why
How?
would you stoop this low? Why would you do this to yourself?
Yeah.
But then and again, there's also the place of intentionality, even though not everyone can be as passionate, and our passion varies from person to
Mm-hmm.
person. But
Mm-hmm.
I love the fact that you were conscious of what you wanted, and the more you interacted with
Yeah.
these possibilities, the more those possibilities became voices of reason at points where you were discouraged. Now,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
in the
That's
middle of all
right.
of this, you wrote a book. Uh-uh. RMV. How did you did it? Because In the middle of all of this, you wrote a book. Please, what fountain do you use to draw beyond the stories that you used to hear? Where do you use to draw this fountain of encouragement?
So I think with the book part, the book part came after I resigned from
Hmm.
banking. Actually, I so it was the book, Suffering and Smiling, was like a compilation of um the things I went through in the banking sector. How, on the outside it looks like I was living a beautiful life, right? Because again, I wasn't showing it. I didn't carry it on my head. The toxic, environment, the the things I went through, it wasn't obvious on the outside. It was more like it was like I carried it well. When the people say, you bodied something, I bodied it well. People didn't know what I was going through at the time. But now me know the shege way at the
Hmm.
sea. You get what I'm trying to say? Now me know the kind of shege that I was going through at the time. And then I just knew that this would help a lot of people, because again, I saw people who were also living that kind of life. Let me tell you some of the things that actually informed my decision to say, you know what, I'm going to leave this banking industry. I saw people who had spent 10 years on the job as a contract staff, 11 years on the job as a contract staff, and when I see the quality of life they were living, it wasn't what I wanted for myself. You get it? It wasn't what I wanted for myself. And I'm like, you know what? Me, I know if you live this kind of
Hmm.
life. Me, oh, I don't want to live this kind of life. And so I began to plot the graph. I began to plot the graph. And then I say, you know what? I'm not going to end up, like these people. Me, I'm going to leave. But when I'm leaving, it will be that even if I didn't know what I was going to do, it would be that I would become a better
Better
person.
version of yourself.
I'll become a better person. Yes. And you see, most of those things I went through when during in my banking journey, I when I look back now, I thank God though. I thank God for some of those things, honestly. Because those situations actually forced me to how do I put this now? They forced me to know that this is not where I'm supposed to be. That's it. So every morning then when I'll be going to the office, when I'm in the
Yeah.
staff bus, I'll just be thinking that, is
I
this the
want
kind
to
of life I
live
want to live? Waking up like 4:30 a.m. because you need to beat Lagos traffic. I was living on
all
the
the way
way
from Alagbado.
all the way from Alagbado. Yes. You want to beat Lagos traffic, you have to leave the house. If you miss that bus, you are in trouble, because you will think of how much are you collecting as salary that you will now want to be paying transport fare from that money. So you have to do all you have to. And the funny thing, see, when I worked in that banking space, that was when I knew that nobody is indispensable. If you fall down and die today, the job is not going to wait. I'm
I
not joking,
know. It
Ojade.
was how you said it. I know. And it's you have said nothing but the truth. You said nothing but the truth.
I'm
I
not
know.
joking now. Because sometimes there were some of my colleagues at the time that when they are coming to office, because you have to leave your house very early. So because maybe the Starbucks leaves at say 5 a.m. for instance, if you are leaving wherever you are, you have to make sure that you're at the bus stop, you're at the
Yeah.
branch by that 5 a.m. because they will not wait for you. We will hear that, oh, when this person was coming to the office this morning, she was robbed though. This person, do you know how,
How
hey
like
God, do you know how
how are
risky?
you managing it? Because
Ah,
see,
let me,
it's actually
do you
very,
know
very
what God
risky.
used to
So from 4:30,
do you know what God used to save my own
please
life
tell
that
me.
time? Fortunately, my dad was also working
Oh
on the island
wow.
at the time. By the way, it's not as if my dad had one top position. No. I've shared my story a lot of time because at the time my dad was also working in a bank, but he was working as a pool car driver. Okay. So because he was working, so I could like
So you like
follow
to
him
travel
when
to
he's leaving the house. I leave the house with my dad. So I could follow him when he's leaving the house. So he probably drop me at a bus stop and then I'll now, join my Starbucks. That was the only saving grace I had. If not, I don't know how I would have
God
even
bless daddy
navigated
for us. So
that. God bless that man.
wow.
It was just it that was because you will just say, oh, somebody was robbed, oh, somebody's phone has been collected, and we
You
will still
will
work
hello,
that day.
you
Oh,
will do the
nothing
work.
concern.
You know you will do the work.
Let me tell you something. Even if those things happen, except if it is like your case is like very critical, maybe you landed in the hospital and maybe you could not shop, you must come to work the next day. There was a particular girl that she was robbed on that day. She came to work. She was even the one telling us that as she was coming this morning, no, that they've collected everything. No, she was. If you see mark on her body, and she still came to. uh Except if you are working with somebody who is lenient, they will not say, "Oh, okay, go and take care of yourself." If you jam the kind of people that I worked with at the time, and you see, yeah, looking at it now, I do
I
not blame them.
definitely
Oh,
you can't actually
sincerely.
because different strokes for different folks. What the people have experienced is
See,
different.
I do not. I do not. And you know why I do not? Because I also understand that they also are under pressure.
Yeah.
There's pressure for them to deliver. There is pressure from the top. So I had a boss at the time that she will come to the meeting, she will advise us, you take your life seriously, especially with that we're doing support staff then. If you want to further your education, she will tell you, further your education, this blah, 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 blah. The same person that is advising you to further your education, if you go and meet her that in my bid now furthering my education, I have exam to write, she will not give you permission to write exam.
My God.
I'm not joking.
What? No, that's wrong.
I'm not joking.
Ah,
I'm not joking.
there
No,
are people in this life.
you have to convince her
Wow.
that maybe you are not lying, because again some people too, they will come and lie that, oh, maybe I have exam, and that those kind
Wow.
of things. You that exam that you want to go and write, you will take it out of your leave, out of the you will deduct those days out of your leave. That's when you can go to write exam. One incident I will never forget, and that was part of the things I actually wrote in my book. I'll never forget, was a Saturday when we were asked to come to the office. At the time, the bank was merging with another
Okay.
bank, and we were asked to come to the office about Monday to Sunday, Monday to Sunday. It was a very, very serious time. Now we had a training at work. It was a Saturday. And then I said that Saturday now, it was now the same day I had the second edition of the Multiwoman conference. I'm the convener, right? That same day happens to be the day my elder brother was wedding.
Oh dear Lord.
Can you hear me?
I'm hearing
Please
you.
confirm if you can hear me.
I can hear you, my dear. Please go on.
So that same day was the day. So these two major events were happening in my life at the time. And I went to
You
meet
have
my
to go to
boss.
work.
I told her that, please, ma, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Go on. Go
I
on.
just want to be sure. I think I'm getting it. Okay. So I went to meet this my madam that, ma, please, oh, this event that is happening, this training. I told her that, ma, I'm organizing a training for women, an event for women. This is the second edition. I showed her the flyer, I showed her everything. This woman said, no, I must come, that I must be in the office on that Saturday. No be maybe trainer. I'm literally like insignificant in quotes. Like, if I didn't come to that meeting, there's nothing that will happen. This woman said no, that I must come, that I must come. I went, see, if you see how I was pleading with her, I showed her my flyer so that it will not even look like maybe I'm lying or anything. Then I told her again that my brother is wedding, on this particular day. Ma, please, shebi this Ivy, my firstborn, my parents firstborn. Ma, please, Can I be
May I?
excused?
My lord, may I?
Ah, do you know what she asked me? She said, she said, she said, Mary, are you the
My
bride?
goodness, such callousness.
I said no. She said, if you are
My
not the bride, it
God.
means the wedding will go on. With or without you. See, I didn't attend the wedding. No,
Wow.
I didn't attend the wedding.
Wow. You did, and you also did not attend your own
She
event.
did not grant me permission. She did not grant me permission.
We forgive her. We forgive her. We
And
have moved.
so that day, of course, that day, and I said, okay, no problem. That same Saturday, I went to host my event first because I'm the convener. I needed to deliver my keynote address. I went to the venue first, handed over
Project
to the
manager.
guy in charge of the event at the time.
Yeah.
I will not forget Jade. I took Gokada from
Oh,
Maryland
yeah.
to Oyinjolayemi to what's the name of this bus stop? It was somewhere in Lekki. It's not even Oyinjolayemi because we had left Oyinjolayemi at the time. There's a bus stop in Lekki, very close to Rental
Yeah.
Hotel. That was where the office was. I took a bike. I was on Third Mainland Bridge. I was on the bike. I did not even fear if anything
Happened to
happen, if I fall
you.
down on this thing. Me, I was just like, let me get to the office on time. Let me get to the office in time. That was what was on my mind. When I still got to the office, she noticed that I came late, of course, because I was not around for the first half. When I got to the office, she just said, Mary, when did you come? I said, Ma, I came in some minutes ago. That's how this woman said she's going to sack me on Monday. That I should just, as I'm coming on Monday, I should write my, that I should be going back to my outsourcing agency. Me, I was not ready to resign that time. That's how I started to beg this woman. All my colleagues, if you see them, they were begging her, please, ma, don't sack her. Please don't sack her. One alaja like this, she was heavily pregnant. This woman was on her news.
Oh, dear.
That day, I cried. That day, I cried hot tears. I said, on top how much? Me na 60K that they pay me that time safe. I said, which kind of life is it? It was that day I vowed, never in my life will I leave my life in the hands of
No.
anybody. For you to be able to make a decision, I can do this for you. Never, never. That day, I cried. When I was going back because I still went back to my event. As I was on that bike, Jade, I was just thinking of my life. I was just thinking. In tears, I was soaked in tears. I was just saying, God, this is not the kind of life I want for myself. This is not the kind of life I may not know exactly what it is,
It's
but
not what,
it is
yes, it's
definitely
not
not
what you
this one.
want to do with your life.
It is not this one. This is not it. Like, what kind of life is this? I cannot even live my dreams. I had interview. There were times when I would have TV interviews. I would be like this on my way to interview. They would just call me, Madam Kinikan just asked of you, Jade. I will turn back.
Oh, dear.
Imagine when they have announced on TV that, oh, we are having this guest, oh, this guest is coming
No.
to speak. Oh. I will not be apologizing to Anchor. Please, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I say, what kind of life is this? Is not the kind of
They
life
won't
I
even take you
want to live.
seriously. They won't
Never.
take you
I said this is
seriously.
not the kind of life. And that was actually what that smiling and suffering. Because on the outside, nobody knew all of these things. Nobody. You know, and I had people who were like, oh, Miri, you're doing well for yourself. Oh, you're a bad. You don't know what they want
Lord have
to keep
mercy.
quiet. You
Lord have mercy.
you don't know. I'll be like, people don't know what people are going through. You just think because all of us are shining teeth like this and we are, some of us just have a way to, it doesn't mean that the storm is not there. It doesn't mean that the storm, we just have learned how to smile in the storm because we know that whatever happens, this storm no go carry me.
We will survive it. We
We
will
will
thrive.
survive. I will overcome. So because we draw strength from the fact that, okay, you know what, I'm going to overcome, I'm going to thrive. Now that hope they push us. So I said then I had people be, and guess what, oh, Jade? Some sort of people that
Yeah.
be hosting events, and trust me, now me wey beside the MC, I go dey dress. If you see me dress like this, self, people, Mary, this your dress, blah, blah, blah. You don't know what I'm going through on Monday to Friday. It's Saturday and Sunday. Those are my happiest days.
My goodness.
know, and that
Wow.
was, see, especially for the last 2 years I worked with a boss who would not hesitate to call you stupid, foolish in the presence of customers. Oh, I'm not even
Right.
joking. If she's shouting at you from the banking hall, even customers go, they look you, say, wetin this
What did
person
you
be like?
do?
You that foolish girl, if I come and meet you, I'm not joking.
why why why? Because so I mean I wonder why managers, or why some managers sorry,
Eh,
would do that to their subordinates. Why do you have to insult a fellow person and make them feel
my
small
dear,
because you want to try to pass a message across? Why?
see, I said that time, you're not the only thing that just gives me. I don't even know how I did not even
So
like
so
end it up.
what?
Every time when I those events that I will be
Yeah,
attending on
yeah.
weekends, and then I will be hearing people's story. I wish I not pay up there for me, say I will overcome. No, don't
Wow.
worry.
Look at
I will not say
you.
I will come back to tell this story. And you know the funny thing,
What?
Jade, I was already doing all this my social media involvement then. Oh. So some of my colleagues know how I am on social media. So even some of my bosses said they knew, this girl, when I say this girl no be anyhow girl, but they will not say hesitate to deal with
They only hesitate to
me.
portray you. They want to show you that they are the boss. You can do your shenanigans over the weekend. Monday to Friday, we are the real of that.
You see, thinking about all of these things now, and even talking, it's funny, but then it was not
God.
funny.
Wow.
Guess what? I was in my early 20s,
Wow.
21, 22. I was just a girl. I just wanted to work and earn. I was sponsoring myself.
Oh,
I needed that money. I needed that money. But man, I got to a point and I'm like, you know what? I'm not going
not
to continue
anymore.
like this. I
So
cannot do this.
because
Not
of your
anymore.
experiences, was that what made you become very strong in advocating for mental
Ah,
health? And
you
yeah.
see, I used to say that life actually toughened me.
Mm,
You understand? The experiences I've been through have actually made me realize that you cannot afford to go through life and be acting like a
okay.
jellyfish. You see, because except if maybe you're born with a silver spoon and you have people who have handed over things to you, or just like that, you don't need to stress yourself. But for some of us, that no, we not get
There's
any,
no
we don't even
spoon.
get wooden spoon.
There's no spoon.
There's no spoon. The only spoon we have is God's
Oh,
spoon. You understand? For those of
yes.
us who have this kind of trajectory, I understood that I have to like take my life in my hands. And as I grew, I now began to understand that you cannot even be anything you want to be if you're not in a good health
True.
space. You understand? You can have big dreams, aspirations. It's okay. You can be doing up and down, but if your
My
mental health is not
mm,
intact, you are gonna choke. It's going to
it
choke
choke.
like this.
It what? It choke.
It choke. And so that's actually some of the things that actually informed my decisions to go back again and study psychology. And I used to say that I just believe that I studied psychology now, maybe by some divine
Mm,
orchestration. Because again, now I now understand that there's nothing that just happens just like
True.
that, especially to believers, to Christians. Because again, when I was coming to Cyprus, I wanted to do mass communication. At the time, my school was not offering mass
Oh dear.
communication. So the closest course or something I felt like was a better
Well,
alternative
psychology.
was psychology. That was actually how I landed in psychology. It wasn't like maybe psychology was like the very first choice I had. And because I was already doing a lot of, you know, doing counseling, coaching, because of my some of my experiences, I was already sharing my story. People were connecting with it. I knew that I needed this background. I knew that I needed this background. So I just said, you know what, I'm going to go all in for it. And when I started, I'm like, this is it. This is it. Because your big dreams can only materialize when you have a sound mind to think
Hmm.
about it. If you're not thinking with a sound mind, if you're not thinking with clarity, and in fact, if you're not even working from a place of rest, at every point in time, you continue to burn out, you continue to exhaust yourself, you continue to be overwhelmed. And so, even when I talk now, when I share now, I talk a lot about mental stamina, mental resilience. A lot of people in this our time and age do not have that
Hmm.
capacity. And it is something that can be learned. It is something that you have to be intentional about it. Why? Because life will throw you, you understand? Life will throw you like right, left. Life would want to also test your stamina, your strength on some areas. So if you do not build that thing from the inside, you can be showing up outside, you can be performing outside, right? You can be doing those things. Of course, there's even what we now even know as smiling
Hmm.
depression, where people now, cover up
With a
what
smile
is
and
going on the inside,
functional
what they feel
depression.
on the inside. We think, yes, outside you look at their life and it is fine, but
They're
inside
dying.
they're dying. They go to bed every night, they're crying and all that. I used to say, "Oh, me, I cannot kill myself as I am like this. So I no fit kill myself because this life, I will live it to the fullest by the grace of God.
By the
And
special grace of God.
I'm going to live it to the fullest.
By the very special grace of God, we live to the fullest.
So those were, some of the things that actually, just made me to begin to, advocate for mental health, especially again mental health literacy advocacy. Because again, a lot of people just think, oh, mental health is only about depression,
Hmm.
about all these big things. But they don't know that even the small things that you ignore, the anxiety that you allow, the worry that you allow, the things that you don't address, those things continue to pile up. They continue to pile up, and if you don't address those things while they are still small, by the time they continue to blow to pile up, very soon it's going to explode.
Wow.
Very soon it's going to explode. So, yeah.
I will take a quick break and let's just really look at what's happening on LinkedIn. So we have Augustine on LinkedIn. Thank you so much, Augustine. Thank you for your comments. Good to have you on LinkedIn. A quick look at YouTube. We had like 3 people viewing live, but it's good to have you. Thank you so much. Please make sure you share to a friend, tell a friend that we're still live. The Find Your Voice series is live, and we are having so much fun with the one and the only Mary Damilola Ayuba. Quite an intriguing and enduring story. And I particularly love how you are able to um, craft your story in such a way that at the end of the day, there's this hope that you share because based off of what you have just shared with us, because
Mm,
of how other people have shared their stories, you're able to have hope to go along your journey. And I see
mm,
that now you are paying it forward with the way you tell your
yeah.
stories. Because I had seen when you shared about you being a TEDx speaker in school. I'm like, wow, girl, love it. I mean, it was just really beautiful. Was really beautiful to see, and was also inspiring for me as well. I mean, different people are different, journeys of our life, but understanding that your dreams are still valid. About that. Now, there's the
Yeah.
Multiwoman Network, and there's also the relentless,
Mm.
the ruthless results squad. So how do
Results
you,
scored.
because I
Yeah.
from what I know, right? I know that for the multi
Mm.
woman network, you help women to navigate
Mhm.
their journeys, mental health, empowerment, and all of that. And
Mhm.
then with the ruthless results squad, tell us you want to achieve this by the end of 2025. If you don't do it, we kick you out.
Mhm.
How do
Yeah.
you, because I know that all of this expressions and these communities that you built are an
Mhm.
outflow of your experiences to also help people
Yeah.
achieve that, to have that grit to say, you know what, because I want to do it, I'm going to see to the end. So how did you come about these expressions, and how have you been able to manage it over time?
Okay. Okay. So I think one of the things that I have discovered about myself is that um I don't like to walk alone. And when I say that, I mean that, especially when I know that there is that ability for every one of us to arrive at
Mm,
this place. I want us to go together. I am one person who is I share whatever I know quite easily. If I learn something new, I don't want to keep it on the
to share.
inside. I want to talk about it. I want to, I want people around me to learn about it. And so how the Multiwoman Network started actually was just my own passion for women, because again, I was tired of a lot of women thinking that they have to just be only one thing, and that's one thing alone.
That's
you
true.
know we had seen a lot of narrative. We had seen the narrative that, oh, if you want to be a career woman, then your family will be
Hmm.
suffering. You understand? You cannot be married and then you are doing career woman. You understand that
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. While I know that balance, especially when it comes to the family dynamics for women, while I know that it's not an easy thing, what I have now learned is that it is very possible for us to harmonize every part of our lives
Hmm.
together, such that you are able to actually show up in different aspects of your lives at different instances. Once you put the right measures in place, everything is going to make sense.
Hmm.
You understand? And so it was my desire to, have women who also believe in this kind of mindset, because again how we say that everything is about your mindset, is what you believe in. If you are somebody who are believe so much that, if I'm doing my career, I cannot have a happy home, that is what's going
Hmm.
to happen to you.
It's all in the mind.
If you believe so much that, it is the mindset. If you believe so much that, I cannot raise godly children, I cannot raise children just because, oh, I want to quit my career, that thing you are thinking, that's what's going
Hmm.
to happen to you. Now, because I have now begun to see women who are doing these things,
Yeah, they're making it happen.
let around us, and then I felt like, you know what, and let me, build that platform where we can have these women come to speak with other women. I've been someone who is very drawn to stories for a very long time, so I know the power of storytelling. And then I say, you know what? Let's come together as a community, hear the stories of these women. Let's be able to ask them questions. Let's be able to learn from them the mistakes they've learned. Let's be able to learn from those things, the mistakes they've made, the things they can share that can help us. Those of us that are young, that are coming behind us. And guess what? I started Ultimate Network when I was 25, in the midst of all of these bad blows happening to me at the time. I still found them
It
onto
is
one
your
network.
resilience for me, man. I mean, I give it to you, girl. Your resilience,
You
though. That's
see,
a whole master class.
me, I was just I was just channeling all my pressure,
Hmm.
all the things. I was just saying, let me do something for it. Me, I will not kill myself. This thing, it is so I will
Hmm.
survive, you know. And now it was because those other aspects of my life was giving me that deep sense of fulfillment.
Fantastic.
Anytime we're able to organize events, anytime I see women who tell me that because I attended this event, I'm able to do it.
Wow.
There's this. Let me tell you something. When we did the fourth edition of the Mortal Man Conference 2 years ago, I told God that I didn't want to do it. because again, I wasn't even in Nigeria at the time. So I was already thinking that, okay, maybe when I come back to Nigeria, maybe I'll do it. But I was still like, you know, thinking, should I do it? Should I not? Should I do it?
Mm-hmm.
Should I not? And I think I was telling God that maybe you begin to give me reasons why I should do it. Like, if I have enough
I
reasons,
would
I
do it.
would. And then one of those days, I met somebody in Cyprus. Here in Cyprus, she had finished her study as a nurse. She started from scratch. She had done a degree in Nigeria before she came over to Cyprus. And then we're talking, and then she said, Mary, that do you know why I even came back to do nursing? I'm like, "Ah, I don't know." She said I attended the first edition of the Multiwoman conference, and so woman said so thing that, and I remember then I invited the ED of Access Bank at the time. Was it ED? I can't remember her position. Madam Ojini, that's her name. I went to her office then again because I was working in the bank.
You had that
I took my
access.
letter, package, went to her office and said, Ma, I'm organizing this event, blah, 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 blah. And she said, oh, okay. She was very, very open and she said she was going to come. And she
Aw.
came. I was surprised. She came, she shared her story, the things she had been through. I never imagined that woman had been through
Like I
those
did
kind
not
of
imagine
things.
that you went through all
But
this
in
that you went through now. But it's okay. Moving
I
on.
don't know. But in places like that, we're able to hear the stories. And then she said that she heard that woman's story, and then she said that she found the courage to rewrite her story.
Mm.
And she came back. This was what 5 years after I'm hearing this. I had never heard it from, because she did not even maybe send us any feedback or anything. When I heard that, I said,
You
okay,
will
God,
go back
thank you.
and
That
do
was a
it. Oh.
confirmation. Thank you. I said, thank you. And when I came
Mm.
home 2 years ago and we did it, oh my God. Oh my God. It was
Wow.
an overwhelming success. I'm not even kidding. It was, no, I didn't believe what God did through that event. And so for me, it's that sense of, if these people can do it, we can also do it. Let's create a platform where everybody can learn. Let's create a platform where people can see these possibilities. You see, when you see it, it is easy for you to believe it. It's not theory. You have seen practical right in front of you. You can ask your questions. And then for the Ruthless Results Squad, it's also from that thing of, let's grow together. Let's grow together. Then I used to have people who tell me, Mary, I mentor me, mentor. I know they do mentorship. Oh. I don't get energy for mentorship.
Speaking about mentorship, yeah. I'm also at that phase in my life where
Ah,
younger people come to me, oh Lady Jade, Lady Jade, I want to be
Lady
MC,
Jade, gonna
and I'm
mentor
like,
me.
calm down
Mentor
first.
me.
Any suru, it's not
You know,
that
you
easy.
know the you know the funny thing. You know the funny thing was I even started a mentorship academy years ago, but I had to stop it because it wasn't getting me the kind of result. See,
That you
me, I'm
wanted.
I'm a kind of person that I'm not shy to stop something that is not working.
Hmm.
You understand? If I'm trying something and it's not working, I'm
It's
not
not
going to think
working.
of, oh, what will somebody say? I don't care. I
You
do
shut
not
it
care
down.
what you think. I do not care what you say. Nothing concern me. I did not collect money from you. You did not borrow me money. I did not owe you anything.
My goodness.
I don't care. If I'm doing something and it's not giving me the result I want, I will go back to the drawing board. I will say, God, you know what? I don't reach this level. I know they understand again. Let me pause for now. So I was doing the Multi-Woman Academy at the time, where I had people who signed up for mentorship. And I wasn't getting, this was not what I wanted. This is not the idea of mentorship I saw in my head, you know. Because again, people would just come and will be begging them to, no, I don't, no. That's not what mentorship is. And then I paused it. So again, I was not having people who were willing to work with me. And I said, you know what, instead of me just doing a mentorship, I would rather do an accountability community where I will still work with you, but here I'm holding you accountable. So I'm not mentoring nobody, okay? I'm not teaching nothing. But I will hold you accountable. I will stand on your neck because I'm one person who is always very particular about, let's get results. Let's get results. Let's do what we have to do. Let's put in our effort. Let's put in our best. And so I had people. So now, because I have people of like minds who are also interested in achieving the results that they want for themselves. I said, okay, you know
Yeah.
what? It's a win-win for us. Let's come together. Let's build a community. And we made a community out of it. And now it's been 4 years, interestingly. It's 4 years, and I can tell you, we've had over 80 members in that community, and it's been a lot. It's a lot of work for me. I'm not even going to lie, but we're
Imagine
doing
that
it.
was going on.
God is helping us. God is strengthening us. So, yeah.
Well
By
done.
answering your
Wow. This is one of the most fascinating episodes that I've had so
question.
far.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you did not hold back. You
Mm,
shared your story on restraints. Now we've actually hit the 1 hour mark. But I mean, just to quickly wrap things up so that
mm,
I mean, you're literally 2 hours ahead of us. um,
mm.
but I want to say thank you. Now, what would be your parting words to anyone who perchance is watching this video and the person is wondering, you know, how can I scale through this? What
Mm,
can I do? How can I believe again? Because people go through different things in life.
mm,
And I mean, I've had an experience where I worked with a very toxic boss,
mm,
and it was really bad because, and it was so bad that the main supervisor was not listening to my side of the story.
hmm.
So the judgment was usually one sided.
And
There was no query, there was no nothing. This one just comes to report and everything, and everybody just, everything just went in,
everybody believes it.
and then it took me going back to check myself, say, no, I've actually done this. Right.
Mm,
So how would you encourage someone out there? Because again, for me, I realized that for you to be able to write a book in the midst of all that was happening to you, it meant
mm,
that you deliberately documented your journey and everything that you had
yeah,
experienced.
yeah.
So how would you help someone today who is struggling to find their voice, who, yes, they are probably going through what you are going through, or they are probably going through what you had gone through, and they're wondering, how can I find my voice in the middle of all of this? What would you say to them?
Okay, so first thing I'm going to say is there's hope. If people
Hmm.
like us, if God can, write beautiful stories from our lives, there's hope. Honestly, there's hope. And I think I've just always believed that you will unravel beautifully. You will. Everything happening to you is that's not the end. What you're seeing now is not all that you are. It's not all that there will be to you. So because there is more to you, please, I beg you, don't quit. Don't just give up like that. Don't throw in the towel. Don't do that. Okay. Give yourself that chance to see what happens to you. You understand? You know how you are like, I'm going to see this thing through. I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to see this thing to the end. Give yourself that chance. The other thing I'm going to say is live as much as possible, be very present in your own life. Um, a lot of people go through life mindlessly. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, just again, I can understand because yes, there's a lot of overwhelm, there's a lot of tiredness, but all the same, one thing that is going to help you is to be very, very present and active in your own life. There's this thing that some people do that I do not find funny. When things happen to them, and then you're asking them, like, how did this thing happen? You're an adult. And then they're like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how it happened. You cannot not know because you're an adult. So be very present in your own life, be actively living your life. Know what is happening to you part time. When you know, it will be easy for you to be able to address the situation. You understand? It is one thing for you to be going through things and then you don't even know. How do you begin to seek solutions? Right? Please, as much as possible, be very present in your own life. Now, the next thing I'm going to say is surround yourself with people who really, 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 really believe in you. I beg you. Surround yourself with people who believe in you, people who hold you up in situations where you are not able to hold yourself, in instances where even your own strength is failing you. Please be around people who are able to hold you up, who are able to pray for you, who are able to strengthen you. Surround yourself with those kind of people, because on days when your own strength is not able to carry you through, you need to pull from the strength of other people around you. So I beg you, make sure that you're in the midst of people who love you. Make sure you're in the midst of people who support you, who would always look out for you no matter what happens. Make sure you are surrounded by those kind of people. I think if you're able to get these things right, at least these ones are the basics. If you're able to get these things right, it would be easy for you to navigate this season of your life, whatever season you are in. And of course, if you need to also speak with a professional, please do. I remember that at some point in my journey, I had to go for therapy. It was one of the things that helped me even on my, on my run journey. I had to go for therapy. It was something that I needed to do. I needed to, let out a lot of things. I needed to onboarding a lot. I needed to share a lot of things, and it was so helpful. So even if it requires you to seek professional help, do not hesitate to do that, especially if you can afford it. Do not hesitate to do that. So I hope that these few things would be able to help anyone who is going through any phase of their life, and who want to come out from that. I really just strongly believe that you will unravel beautifully. You will come out strong. You will come out strong. You will turn out fine. I'm telling you the truth. You will turn out fine. You will turn out fine. I hope that this encourages one or two persons. Thank you so much for being here. I know that Lady Jade is going to be back soon. Let's just hold on for a little bit. I'm sure she's probably trying to get back on the stream. I also know that I think the network has been a little bit crappy from both ends. So apologies for that, and I'm sure she's going to be back soon. And I think that one more thing I'm going to also say is um the kind of thing you believe about yourself as an individual goes a very long way in determining what your final outcome will be. Don't be the person who just gives up easily. Honestly, don't be that person who just, if anything happens, you understand, you have to, I'm not doing it again, I'm not doing it again, I'm not doing it again. I talked about mental stamina, I talked about mental resilience during the course of this conversation. I strongly believe that everyone, especially as you're growing, as you're adulting, everyone really needs this mental stamina. Everyone needs this mental strength, because you will need it very well along this journey. You will need it so well, because life is going to test you. Like I said, life is going to test the stuff you have on the inside of you. So please, build your mental stamina, build your mental resilience as you go on. And of course, the God factor, very, very critical. I'm not even going to take that out of this conversation. Um, the only person who can hold it together for you in the midst of the storm is God. Is God. Once God is holding it together for you, it will be easy for you to navigate. It would be easy for you to, begin to find your way, begin to find, the ropes. It would be easy. And of course, even when you get to the situations where you are confused and you don't know what to do, because you have God, the journey becomes easier. The journey really, 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 really becomes easier. The load becomes lighter for you. So I hope that with these things I shared, I hope that you're able to, pick one or two lessons from it. And I hope that this conversation today has stirred up something on the inside of you. And,
Thank you so much. Hey, God.
you're back. It's
Alright.
okay. Lady Jade, are
Can
you
you see
back?
me? I
I'm
think
not
I
yet.
am.
Yes, yes, you're here now.
Okay. All right. Apologies. The power holding held their power. I'm the
it's
sister. But I mean, thank you so much for holding it down, by the way. I really appreciate
okay.
you,
It's
Mary.
okay.
Thank you. Your story has inspired me tonight, and I believe that it's going to inspire every other person that's going to watch this video. Thank you
Yeah.
for your grit. Thank you for your stubborn resilience, because this, no. That's nothing. I mean, I am now encouraged, because the truth is, no matter what we go through in life, right? When you
Mm-hmm.
hear someone telling you, I went through this and I survived, there's this new surge of, nah, let's do this. Let's go.
Mm.
Let's fire down. So thank you once more, Mary. I'm honored to
Thank
be in
you
your
so much.
circle. I'm grateful
Thank you,
for you.
sis.
I'm glad that you're in my life. I'm glad
Mm.
that I was a nice person when we're in broadcasting
I
school.
was
I did not show bad
I'm
character.
so grateful to you too. I'm so grateful to you too. Thank you
So,
so
so
much. Thank
thank
you.
you. And I hope that the replay will be available on LinkedIn and on YouTube. So please watch out for the replay both on YouTube and on LinkedIn. And I'm sure that's going to help someone very close to you. Please make sure you like, you share, you subscribe to our YouTube channel at Lady Jade Global on YouTube. And of course, make sure you follow and of course
Mhm.
repost this on LinkedIn at Jadesola Adewodun till I come
Mhm.
away again. And right now, I really have to let Mary go. Thank you so much, Mary. I really appreciate
Thank
you.
you
Thank you for
so
joining
much.
us on this fascinating episode of Find Your Voice series. Thank you. God bless you. Good
Thank
night.
you,
Mwah,
sis.
mwah, mwah.
Thank you. Bye
Good night.
bye.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much. It's been a honor and a pleasure having Mary Damilola Ayuba till I come your way again for another exciting episode, another intriguing episode. I believe that you've learned, your notes are full, and you're going to maximize all that you've learned today. Till I come your way again, I am Jadesola Adewodun, your host for Find Your Voice and Own Your Space. Good night and God bless.